Samsung fans are all agog now that the newest Samsung flagship phones are available in Canada. Announced earlier this year, there are 3 unique new devices all under the Galaxy S10 banner. There's the S10, the S10e, and the S10 Plus. I'm Erin from TechGadgetsCanada.com, and I recently had a chance to spend a couple of weeks with the new S10 Plus here to test out the ecosystem. I also got to try it out along with the new Samsung Buds and the new Galaxy Watch Active, so check out those reviews here on the channel as well. By the way, if you end up liking this video and find it helpful, please hit that like button and give us a sub, since it helps us keep making more videos just like these.
So let's start with what's new with the Galaxy S10 Plus. The design for starters. Samsung has ditched the 2018 notch trend for what's being called a hole punch design. The wide pill-shaped cutout houses dual selfie cameras. The notches in any smartphone never really bothered me beyond the first 10 minutes of ownership, but I will say the hole punch pretty much disappears into your top taskbar and you'll never notice it. The bezels are also much thinner than last year's S9 Plus. The screen-to-body ratio is 93%, which is a bump from 84% on the S9 Plus. The phone is also IP68 water and dust resistant, and yes, the 3.5mm headphone jack is still there if you're analog like that. The screen has been called the world's first HDR 10 Plus display, measuring about 6.4 inches. It is definitely clear, crisp, sharp, and beautiful. This time around, there's no physical fingerprint scanner on the back like there was in the S9. Samsung's also dropped the iris scanner, but the new Galaxies can still be unlocked with a scan of your face or your fingers. On the S10 Plus, the fingerprint scanner is on the front of the screen. So far, it's pretty quick, though it is a bit weird to get used to at first.
I'm not going to get too deep into the specs here, but there is some new stuff to report. The S10 Plus has Qualcomm's latest Snapdragon 855 processor, and in addition to that, it's got 8 GB of RAM, up from 6 gigs on the S9 Plus. Storage has also been increased in this phone. The S10 Plus ships with Android 9 out of the box, which is Android Pie, and overall the phone is supposed to be a lot faster, but without putting it head-to-head against some other phones in speed tests, that part is a little harder for me to personally verify. Let's get on to everyone's favorite feature in most smartphones, and that's the cameras. The S10 Plus has a whopping 5 camera lenses, plus a boatload of other features and settings.
On the back, there is one primary wide lens, a telephoto zoom lens, and a new ultra-wide lens, though you'll never know which is which. The cameras have the same sensors as last year's phones and still include the dual-pixel autofocus and variable aperture. On the front, there's 2 selfie cameras, with the second camera providing the depth information.
The S10 Plus is also the first flagship from Samsung to offer 4K video recording from the front cameras now, in addition to the rear. You'll need to make sure this feature is enabled to use it, and getting it turned on was a bit of a conundrum, particularly because Samsung never actually uses the term 4K inside the phone, yet it does on its website. To find out how to switch it on, check out my video called How to Shoot 4K Video on Your Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus, or read the instructions at TechGadgetsCanada.com. Now, because it does take a bit of time to explain, I'm not going to clutter up this video with that information here. Worth noting though, when it comes to video, you can also shoot slow-mo and super slow as well.
Shooting nighttime and low light shots has always been best with a Samsung phone. The technology inside makes it very forgiving if you want to capture after dark images, whether you're just being artsy or you really need to get something on camera in a dark place.
This smartphone camera does almost as many things as a DSLR, and the camera, quite frankly, could be a review all on its own, so we're only going to focus on a few basics here.
There's settings for ultra-wide shots like panoramas as well as macros, and these are denoted with small tree or leaf symbols on the main camera. There's also something called live focus. Live focus uses the phone's brains to detect humans in the frame and lets you soften the background and adjust the depth of field for artsy shots. Then you can change the vibe with filters even after you take the shot. There's original, blur, spin bokeh, zoom bokeh, and something called color point that basically gives you different options for blurring the background out or simply distorting it a bit for effect. In addition, you'll find settings you've previously seen on Samsung camera phones, like food, made for Instagramming your lunch. Pro mode is also back, which gives you fine-tuning control over aperture, ISO, and white balance, to name a few options.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Samsung makes some of the best smartphone cameras, period. The photos are outstanding. They're colorful, they're detailed, they're sharp and vibrant, and with all the options you have in settings, you can do so much more with your photography.
There is a bigger battery on this phone. The S10 Plus boasts a 4100 milliamp battery, which is the largest now in the S10 family. Previous iterations like the S9 had 3500, while the Galaxy Note 9 had a 4000 milliamp battery. With moderate usage, you can get a couple days of use out of this phone easily.
Like its predecessor, the Samsung S10 Plus still has fast charging and fast wireless charging. What is new with this phone, though, is that the S10 Plus comes with something called wireless power share. You can now charge any Qi wireless device by placing it on top of the back of the phone, though it's going to be a bit on the slow side.
All you need to do is place the two devices together. You do need a minimum 30% battery to share, and to activate it, swipe down from the top of the screen using 2 fingers to open the quick settings to turn it on. If you want to see this in more detail, I've got a video here and a short instructional blog at techgadgetscanada.com. PowerShare worked like a dream with the Samsung Buds and the Watch Active I tried it with, and it's a nice extra option for power on the go. Surprisingly, it also worked really well for charging an iPhone too. For some, the new Galaxy S10 Plus will be just an incremental upgrade. While there are some great improvements, none of them are going to rock your world, and if you waited until the next upgrade, you probably wouldn't feel like you're missing out.
To recap, the S10 Plus here has a much larger display than last year's Galaxy S9 Plus. It's got more cameras, a faster and more powerful chip, a wider overall screen, bigger battery, and room for more memory. Plus, it's got toys like PowerShare. The cons in this device? Locating the 4K or the ultra high definition video settings are tedious and not intuitive. And there's the price, yes. The Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus here starts at about $1,400 Canadian and goes up to about $2,200 depending on the memory you want. Expensive, yes, but it's no big story that phones cost almost as much as a month's rent these days. When you consider these are our phones, there are cameras, our computers, our TVs, our libraries, our social hubs, and more, in some ways that seems like kind of a small price to pay. If you want to read more about the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus, head over to techgadgetscanada.com where I've got a full write-up, and you can post any questions you have either there on the blog or here on the YouTube channel. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you liked it and found it helpful, please hit that like button and consider subscribing, since it does help us keep making more videos that we hope everyone out there can watch, enjoy, and learn from. I'm Erin. You can catch me on Twitter or Instagram until the next time at ErinLYYC. You can also find me at facebook.com/techgadgetscanada.